Hey, jalang dipina. So yeah, the idea was for you guys to actually play the beats, but this also works. This also works. Uh, that's great. That's great. Just hello everyone. Just trying to work out the kinks here. I think the best case scenario is just for me to like. That's weird. That's weird. Didn't need to do that, but okay. Let's see now. Ooh, yeah, the one thing you have to realize about some of these beats that we're gonna play tonight is that some of them are not in key. Miscusi for that. Miscusi. But still trying to set up the list of beats we're gonna listen to. I just wanted to get the stream going so that by the time we start listening to stuff, uh, it's not all too weird. Hopefully, I'm coming through. I was meant to click at that point, but yeah, that that happened. But yeah, hopefully it's a good evening. We're gonna listen to beats made in Ableton Live. This is from an era around 2016 towards 2017, and oh yeah, this is a weird design. Probably try to spruce it up. The blue. It's a bit bright. It's a bit bright. Yeah, let's just go red, bro. We'll go on red. Red kind of work for me, but anyway. Um, yeah. So 2017. What was the vibe in 2017? 2017. I was trying to pass modules. That didn't work out. But for the most part, most of what I was doing in 2017 was more a thing of go to varsity, and when I didn't have classes, walking around with my laptop, open it, go to like, oh, no, it's like place called somewhere by Stabilis or whatever. Just go there, put my laptop out there, make beats. A good portion of those beats didn't go out, and that's more on me. Should have done something about that, but let me just check. Wee! Before I did break the headphones, I just needed to make sure I was coming through. So, yeah. All things considered, the period between 2016 and 2018 needed to happen. And it was a very experimental phase for me. Um, Met a lot of people in that time. That was also a cool thing about it. It wasn't just me lying to myself that I was good at production. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew I could do it. the The way I went about it was always weird. It was really not that conventional way of making beats. But here we are. All the more better off because of that, I think. Uh, a lot of tracks that I made were mainly sample flips. So a lot of your the biggest one that I can think of is Flavor. I don't even have the beat for Flavor, from being brutally honest. This was made at some dude's crib in Blue Manda, and then Seth went to the same studio and was like, "Yo, give me that beat." And I was like, "Oh." Still to this day, if you have to ask me for proof whether I did that beat, but yeah, that's the other reason why kids put your stuff on. Hey, we said we're gonna listen to beats. The fuck? Alright, cool. Let's pull them up. Pull them up. Pull them up. Okay. Pull them up. Pull them up. Pull them up. Right. Cool. So we have a couple of beats to listen to over here. It is mainly experimental stuff. Just trying to get away to them. So we're gonna go. The other thing that I like most about guys like Magoveni is that heavy emphasis on making stuff that has African roots in it. It's a very tribal approach to making beats. And I think for the longest time that was something that I also tried to do. Wasn't the best at it, and I will admit hand on heart, there's a lot more talented guys who can do that. But obviously at the time, being able to do that for yourself was really cool. So the first beat we're gonna play is a beat called Tribe. And I didn't know what genre to put beats like that. No, no, no. Don't worry, it's not your ADHD, bro. It's just more thing of like it's been one tempo. It's just that a lot of things that were going on. Cause at the time when making these sort of beats, I always try to make them related to each other, like they sound the same. So the idea behind a beat like that is like, okay, cool. Imagine just walking into a tribe that you have no clue of how the decorum is or whatever. So it meant to it. I wanted it to feel like how it is going to, you know, family reunions and you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know the people. You don't know how you should act, whatever. You just feel out of space, but there is a sense of belonging in there some way. So that's the idea behind a beat like that. So we will probably go on and play the second beat that I want to play from that sort of like theme of uh, ethnic sounding stuff. This next one is called The Art of War, and I don't know. A lot of the feelings that these sort of beats tend to evoke is more like claustrophobic, almost like everything is too close together and it creates a level of tension. That's something that I really wanted to bring across in a lot of these beats. So yeah. So with a beat like that, like I think that was the very first era where we ended up having let's say a beat in like 130, and then the second half where it'll be 110. But since I wasn't used to doing beats like that, I transitioned to it by like slowly decreasing the tempo. It was a weird thing to do, but yeah. So like that's how I try to change or make the song sort of move. Like more often than not, when it comes to arranging, you usually have your intro, verse, hook, bridge, hook, outro. But more often than not in hip hop, trap, whatever, it's intro, verse, hook, verse, outro. So with that, I try to make there to be a space for two artists. So artist one, the beat first part of the beat, and then that second part, you'll notice it changes in pitch twice. So that's the whole like making it sound interesting over time. Um, I think next we'll probably continue the theme of like African sounding beats with another one. This one is called Ritual. And again, if there is a theme to go about, the first one was Tribe, like, yo, I don't know where I am, but I feel like I belong. Whereas Art of was like, yo, pick a side. And then Ritual is more like a fast pace, in your face trap banger, but like there's like that African element in it. So let us play Ritual. The cool thing about beats like that is that it is just a constant theme of like, yo. And I think there was an artist at the time where they wanted to jump on that, and then we sort of expanded on it a little bit more by changing up a few things here and there. But I think it's one of those like 1 minute 30, like, yo, do something. Also, the crazy thing is about beats like that at the time, trying to market them to people and saying, yo, 250 or 350 or whatever a guy was charging back then. Probably now it doesn't really change because it's more like 450. But now how beats are charged are different. Like there's leases, there's unlimited usage, so it's very difficult to price that element to make sure that you get a return on your expertise more than your sort of investment in your craft and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, keep in mind the past three beats, like from top to bottom, no sampling. Apart from the lion in Tribe, that's about it. And it's crazy because this is also the same time where I was sampling a lot. But then I'd go into an application like Ableton Live and say, okay, what do I want to do? Whereas in FL or in Reason, I just go in with like a song that I really like and ask myself, how can I flip this? So I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg will allow this next one, but speaking of sampling, it's one of my favorite sample flips that I've done in Ableton, and again, I don't know if the song will be cleared. I can't tell. Wait. Okay, I have no idea where the original sample is from, but it's a very bare bonesy track and a love song. So yeah, it's called Out of Reach. It's just like the very kicks there. That's it. Bassline, yana. Hopefully it's in key. Yeah, just a nice, soft, whatever. Like it's the most simplistic sample flip I've done, where there's like not that much going on, but adding anything more would be getting in the way of the emotions being involved in the beat. Next is another sort of like trap vibe, but again, I think this is one of those beats where I didn't know how to market this, and you'll realize that a lot of the production that I do, I don't know how to market. If you find it cool, pay the fee, rap on the beat, call it a day. But yeah, this is called Corridor of Uncertainty. You will also You will also notice with a lot of the beats that I make, I always try to give the names like the beats and names that are just weird. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty sure you can hear that lack of arrangement in the beat where like it's just throughout. Um, and that's more a thing of like not wanting to mess up the loop that you create, but then not variating it in certain ways makes it very tedious to listen to unless someone is doing something. So that's one of those like it I'll just send to a rapper if they can't do anything with it, cool. But you can obviously arrange it, like make sure the hi hats don't have to be always there all the time. But next one does not have a name. It has a file name, and it's one of those beats where I'm pretty sure I did send this to Set, and it was more of the vibes of like a radio hit at the time, but I don't know. For me, it was poorly arranged, but there was something there definitely. So yeah, that's more like a loop that just does the same thing over and over again. It if mixed better or if done a little bit better, it could be something. But yeah, we have played so far 6 beats, and we're probably gonna play 5 more, maybe 6 more, just one more. We'll see. But coming back into the whole thing of sample flips, it really all depends on that one element that you end up using that just sort of like carries the theme of whatever you want to do, whatever emotion you're trying to invoke, and stuff like that. So the next one is called Lap of Honor. had I done that beat now and maybe mixed and mastered it a little bit, certain elements would be in your face like that. But again, I think more of that is based off of the emotion that you're working from. I think we're gonna jump back into the theme of using African or ethnic elements in mixing beats or making beats rather. And the next one is called Body Bag. Again, I was trying to evoke a certain feeling with most of these beats. So yeah. That's more carrying on the theme of the previous tracks. There's probably like a way that it ends, but meh. Again, I my focus at this time in my life wasn't playing something that or creating something that had like a song structure to it. It was more thing of okay, intro, verse, and then outro at some point. Me. So it was more of one of those things. But a way to sort of like conclude everything, or the beats that I actively wanted to showcase, and then we'll spend the last bit just listening to stuff that is from around that time and whether or not it works today. With one of the. This one has a bit of a story behind it. And I don't know if they still do them. Probably I'm that old. They had beat battles. Okay, they had rap battles, like, and then in between all of that, you had your beat battles where producers play their best beats. And I will tell you, hand on my heart, I pretty much did not compete with the guys that were there because they were on some other thing. They were doing something else. So I think this being the only beat on record that I think that everyone agreed for, yo, okay, cool. How did you make that? I think that made me realize in that moment what kind of a producer or musician or creator that I am. Where like I'll do a lot of weird stuff and there'll be one thing that I do like, yo, that's cool. And I think part of me, the whole thing of always wanting to get appreciation and recognition for what I do, always holds out for that one person to be like, yo, that's cool. And I need to not immediately tell myself to do whatever people want to hear or whatever people say is cool. I need to always tell myself, keep doing the weird shit. Just keep doing the weird shit. So, this beat originally was called Success is the Best Revenge. And then it turned into what most people know as Vengeance. So, yeah.
Like you, I was forced to learn there are those without decency who must be fought without hesitation, without pity. Your anger gives you great power, but if you let it, it will destroy you, as it almost did me.
What stopped it?
Vengeance.
So, this is the part of the program where we don't know what we're about to listen to. We're gonna try and figure it out. Maybe there might be some story behind some of these beats that I'm about to play, but it's still around that era where, well, I can tell you now. This next beat, I think it is. You know what? Let's push our luck and see how far we can get with it. We're gonna start playing sample flips from that time period. And some of them are going to be songs, some of them are going to be video game soundtracks, and some will just be experimentation at its core. But with that being said, oh, so there was a ethnic music, like your traditional music and stuff like that, is a very, very, very nice soundscape to work with. Let's go with something. Whoop. Damn, that's bright. That's bright. Ethnic sounding songs offer such a wide sound or wide sort of variety of sounds to work with, and it usually helps in creating something different at its very core. With that in mind, there's no beat name to this next one. It's just eh. Yeah, that was just yeah. It's one of those. The cool thing about it is that I I took I took like layers from a YouTube video, funny enough, and then I ended up um, chopping it one way, taking that and then duplicating it, chopping it one way, and then when it came to that sort of like slowdown part, reversed them and took one reverse part and made it higher in pitch. So it just sounded like not like something that was more epic sounding, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to look for something else that we can listen to from this point in time. Meh, not really finding that much. Let us go this side of things. Oh, yep. This is more 2018 vibes. But you know, we can dabble. We can dabble. We can dabble. Oh shit. Yeah. Hmm? No. Hey, no. Probably the best way to end this. This is to say thank you to the people who ended up jumping on beats, especially from this time period, because this time period was hella experimental, and in an era where a lot of the times we're using stuff we don't necessarily understand to try and make things that we know exist, but there's no route towards that, and being able to have people who are understanding of that fact, I feel like it's something that I am very much thankful for. So yeah, make sure you drink your water, eat well, take care of yourself, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Take care. Okay, thanks. Bye.